Okay, Beth, go ahead.
Okay. So before the board meeting, we needed to have a records commission meeting, and I'd like to call the records commission meeting to order. Oh, Gloria, are you okay?
Yeah. Oh dear, wait a minute, I'm coming.
You're good.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. All right, great. So you have a couple of documents for the Records Commission. We have a list of records that we wish to get rid of and wanted to take this time to bring this before the Records Commission to get approval for that. There's Kevin.
Good.
Okay. So you should have page 3, the records request for destruction.
Mhm.
Did everyone get a chance to look at that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Do I have a motion to pass the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks, Gloria. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. The only other thing is, do I have a motion to adjourn the Records Commission? Bill? Okay, thank you. Second, anyone?
Second.
Thanks, Kate.
A heavy burden is lifted.
This is fun. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned for Records Commission.
Okay. Okay, are we ready? I will call the Upper Arlington Public Library Board of Trustees meeting of Tuesday, June 15th, 2021 to order. And I will accept a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I would just take a moment to thank Melanie Stanley for serving the library so well, and we wish her well in her retirement. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. I don't see any public. We'll turn to Kate for her assistant director's report.
Well, thanks, Gloria. Just a couple of quick updates tonight. First of all, I know Stephen knows that Miller Park opened about a week and a half ago. They've been steady, but not overwhelmed, kind of like at our other locations. They reported, though, they had seen a couple of new families in the building who shared they hadn't been into the library before. So that was kind of exciting news for them. And they've had people using the study tables and that kind of thing, too. So we're happy about that. All 3 locations are open for business. So second, in terms of services, our proctoring service that the reference department runs is back in operation. They'd had quite a few phone calls as of late, so they were working on getting people scheduled for that. When folks have online exams that they need to have someone verify that they, were taking it and on task and all of that. And then for me, the most exciting news is that passports begin operations again next Wednesday, the 23rd. We already have our first real appointment. The appointment link went live on the website this morning. So we'll start just on Wednesdays, and as we have demand and staff time, we will continue to increase operations. So be sure to tell your family and friends we're back in business. So thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Kate. Then we'll turn to Beth for the director's report.
Thank you. So a couple of additional items. First is that the Ohio Department of Health orders have been rescinded and masks are no longer required for vaccinated patrons. And we will be having a conversation tomorrow on extending that to our staff as well. Most businesses, including most of the public libraries in Franklin County, are no longer requiring masks for vaccinated staff. So we'll be having that conversation as well. We had our early learning play area ribbon cutting on June 1st, which was a well-attended event and was very successful, very, very happy with it. Hopefully all of you got to see the lovely write-up in this week Upper Arlington newspaper. So thank you to them for writing about the play center, and it's been incredibly busy. The families are really enjoying it. So we've distributed almost 500 COVID tests since the end of March. We still have a few hundred more in case anyone needs it. You know, if you're going to a family gathering or a wedding, or you need a test for some reason, the library has them here, and we're still providing that service through curbside. I did want to share a couple of statistics with you. We are not doing programming aside from virtual programming, but I did want to share with you some statistics in terms of patrons checking out, the trends for curbside, as well as the physical items that we are circulating. So if you look at page 16, we are seeing about 2,600 to 2,700 people checking out. These are just patrons that are checking out materials, and that's a combination of all three of our locations. And curbside has definitely gone down in trends now that the buildings are open, but we're still seeing about 350 people using curbside at main library every week. So it is still being used quite significantly, although people are tend to be coming into the buildings more now to pick up their items. And the number of items that are circulating is definitely going up. It jumped from 9,000 items in 1 week up to 11,000 the following week. So summer is here, and summer reading club and kids are out of school. You know, people are coming in, so we're definitely going to be seeing that trend escalate. So very happy to see that upward trend of people using the library. That is all I had.
Beth, can I ask a question? How
Sure.
does our, in terms of the number of items checked out, how does that track with pre-pandemic levels?
So we are still down quite considerably, both by the number of patrons visiting. Now, the one statistic I will say that has not gone down and continues to increase is our ebooks. Our e-media circulation is still up by about 20%, if not more. But our physical materials, and this could be due to a variety of factors. People are just out of the habit of coming to the library. We have reduced hours still, so we're not open as many hours as we normally were, and we're not really doing in-person programming. So some of the items that might have been checked out because people were here for other reasons, those could all be varying factors with that. But I will say, we will be sending out a postcard probably the end of June and the beginning of July. Just as an awareness campaign. This is a result of some of our key messaging, just reminding people that we are open, that you can come in, and some of the key services that we provide are collections, personalized service, you know, so just reminding people that we're here for them in those terms. So just in case, it's been a while that some people might not have been in. So.
And who will that postcard go out to?
It's all residents in Upper Arlington.
Okay, good.
Everybody will get one. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Any questions for Beth? Anything else? Okay, thank you, Beth, very much. Next, we'll have the Finance Committee report. Lori's not here, but
yeah, you're all stuck with me today. Sorry.
we're glad to have you and glad you're going to do it.
So the committee did meet last Wednesday, and we went through the results for the year. Thus far, the results continue to be very strong. We're a little bit over revenue expectations on the public library fund, and significantly under at this point on the expense side. However, most of that is in the salaries line item, salaries and benefits. Do expect that to close a little bit as we continue to bring in additional new hires. But as it stands right now, we are close to 900,000 above where we expected to be in the budget. And we have about 10 months of operating reserves on hand. So really in very strong financial shape right now. We also talked about went through actually several levy scenarios that Beth and the team had prepared just to start looking at numbers related to different scenarios for different types of levies and whether we would have an increase, a millage increase or not. We're still in kind of preliminary stages of that. We provided some feedback to the staff for some additional scenarios that we'll be looking at in the July meeting. And all of this is, as we all know, kind of preparations for the strategy session that we're going to have. I think that's in September, right, Beth? Or August? September. There were 2 items of business that we want to cover today in more detail. If you look on page 19, for those of you following along, we have a resolution to increase appropriations for salaries and benefits by 25,000. And the reason for this is that we've had some more sort of departures than expected at the higher levels of the organization, which triggers payouts of accumulated vacation and sick leave. And because those payouts have been higher than expected, we want to put some additional appropriations in that line item for any departures that may happen for the remainder of the year. So there is a resolution for that. And we discussed this obviously at the committee level, and we recommend that the board approve this resolution. And Gloria, I guess I'll turn it over to you to walk us through that.
All right. Do I have a motion to pass the resolution?
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Anything you would like to say, Julie, about this resolution?
I will say that we've had some retirements this year that, I'm seeing the trend nationwide that's affecting a lot of people. So we aren't aware of any additional, but that doesn't mean that won't happen. So
Right.
we wanted to make sure we had enough money to cover that.
Mhm. Okay. Good. Any other questions or comments? I think, Allison, you have to do a roll call since this is money.
Yes, any resolution involving actual money, we do a roll call vote. So I will call your name and then you will say aye or nay for your vote. Kevin Fix.
Aye.
Stephen Flynn.
Aye.
Peter Hahn.
Aye.
Kate Hare.
Aye.
Gloria Heidloff.
Aye.
William Shakurti.
Aye.
John Yesso.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. The motion passes. Thank you, Kevin. Anything else?
Yeah, I've just got one other thing, and this may take a few minutes, but we, as part of our finance committee meeting, also reviewed some additional information on the proposed change in healthcare providers to Stark County. And the committee believes that this is the right way to go. And so Julie is here to kind of walk you through some additional information on this and some additional numbers. And then our plan is to bring a formal resolution to the special meeting in July, entering a contract with Stark County. But Julie, I'll turn it over to you to give us more info on this.
Thank you. So in May of this year, we did bring this plan to the Finance Committee. We learned that one of our peer libraries, Westlake Porter, had transitioned to the Stark County plan in December of last year. They were very pleased with them. So I reached out to Stark County and found that we would be eligible to join. They are a self-funded plan, but all of the stop loss coverage is built into the premiums. So there's not added premiums that we would have in place. They have been in existence since 1984. And they currently cover 17,000 employees and 50,000 lives. So it's a pretty big plan. There are 30 Ohio libraries participating currently with them. Some of them are very small libraries, I will say that. They do not have a minimum number of employees. So we would not have to maintain any sort of minimum eligibility to be in the plan. Even though it's anchored in Stark County, it is the coverage is through Medical Mutual of Ohio, which covers the whole state of Ohio. I think the best part about the plan is that the deductible is $250 for single and $500 for family. It is a two-tiered plan, so that's a little different than what we have right now. In comparison, our current deductible is $5,000 single, $10,000 family. So that's a significant difference. Once the deductible is met, the plan pays 90% of the cost of any claims outside of prescriptions, and I'll mention that in a minute, until you reach an out-of-pocket maximum of $750 for single and $1,500 for family. Prescription drugs from day one are covered at 80%. And they did mention that they have a pretty strong prescription drug buying plan so that their prescriptions are very inexpensive compared to what you would see in a traditional commercial plan. We would be eligible to enroll at the end of our current plan year, which our plan year does end November 30th. We wouldn't have any underwriting or entrance fees. We would just, one of the things we would have to do actually is transition all of our benefits to Stark County. That is one of their requirements. So they do offer health, dental, vision, life, and flexible spending. And we would have to transition all of those benefits to Stark County. We would also move to a two-tiered system for coverage versus the four-tiered system that you see on our outline. So in doing that, the committee asked us to give them an analysis of what the cost would be to transition, considering we would normally renew in December. We assumed a 5% increase just to, obviously we'd have some sort of increase in December. So the attachment that you see that's attachment A is the assumption of a 5% increase. So in looking at that attachment, in blue is our current plan at an assumed 5% increase. The Stark County plan is in green. And you'll see that the difference as we do the breakdown at the bottom, at our current plan rate, we also pay 2 additional fees every month. And that is we pay our broker a success share. So that's that $73,000 amount that you see at the bottom. We also pay a first dollar benefit, which is a health reimbursement account that the library funds. And that's that almost $30,000 amount that you see. Those 2 amounts would go away in the Stark County plan because the Stark County plan is just a regular PPO plan. So in analysis, this actually does save overall $12,000, and it saves the library about $8,000 for the year. That savings also takes into account some recommendations we're making to adjusting our cost sharing. The library currently contributes 80% of single coverage and 75% of all other tiers. To make this affordable for staff, we're recommending leveling that a bit to 82% for all tiers with one exception. You'll see that there's one tier, employee plus child. We have one employee participating currently. Because when a plan goes from 4 to 2 tiers, there's some adjustment to premium there for that. We would recommend grandfathering a tier for that employee of 86% to make that more affordable. On the very far right, where you see change in deduction, that's actually, you know, for some staff, they would increase. The highest increase would be about $12 pay period. However, they would have an increase on our current plan anyway, assuming that we would stay with our current plan. Some staff would actually have a decrease in their premium because of the differences in cost between the two plans. I would like to mention though, the dental and vision coverage is higher on Stark County than our current plans in terms of premiums. So there is some added cost on the dental side of things that $8,000 would help offset. So, you know, there are some pros and cons, but we felt like the enhanced benefit and what that would bring to staff would sort of, you know, offset that as well. We also did a survey of our staff, where this was staff that are currently participating in the plan. And we asked a series of questions, but part of that was to find out how staff were feeling about the out-of-pocket costs, because that's something that staff had shared with us. Some staff had shared that they were very concerned about that high deductible. So we posed the question, if we were to enhance our benefits with a slightly higher premium, how would you feel about that? And almost 70% of the staff said that that would be a preference. 61% said they've deferred health care because of concern about out-of-pocket costs, which was another concern that staff had shared, that people had put off having things done because with that $5,000 deductible, you know, that's a pretty high exposure for them. You'll see in the packet, we're also recommending discontinuing part-time offering of coverage. Currently, we offer to staff that are 25 or more hours per week. Currently, we don't have any part-time staff participating in the plan that are eligible. And part of the reason for that is because the library only contributes 50% of the cost of single coverage. So they're responsible for the other half of that monthly premium. Under the Stark County plan, we don't have a minimum number of staff that have to remain eligible. So we didn't feel that that was really value added for those part-time staff. And that's been a pretty common thing, that part-time staff waive coverage because of the cost of it. So I know that's a ton of information. Can I answer any questions?
Julie, I see one of the questions is Ohio State Medical Center, and I see it is. What other hospital systems in the area are part of Medical Mutual's PPO?
So they pretty much cover what you would expect. They cover Ohio Health, Ohio State, Mount Carmel. So all of those doctors that are associated with those practices as well are covered in those health systems. So yeah, it's not as big as Anthem and United Healthcare, but it is quite a large system in Ohio.
And us being part of a large group like that sure can help level out some of our increases in premiums to over such a large group. That's a significant improvement.
Mhm.
We actually, with the finance committee, we had provided them in the first meeting kind of an overlay of the Stark County increases with ours, just to kind of compare. And we did see that their increases are a little more level. They have had increases over time, but the spikes aren't quite as high. You know, we've had increases that were 10 and 11%, and theirs tend to be more around the 4 to 5 to 3. You know, it's a little bit less of a spike there.
Well, I know we've been, at least while I've been on the board, and particularly Bill has been a champion of trying to find a consortium maybe that we could work with, that would bring a lot of these benefits, particularly financial savings. So I'm delighted that we finally did find somebody, and it sounds like you are happy with it and the staff is as well. So
I think we will have at least a handful of staff that will be thrilled because they've shared, major concerns about, if you would happen to have a health condition that maybe happens at the end of one year and goes into the next year, then you have 2 deductibles to meet. And so it just has this snowball effect. So, I wish that the rates for dental and vision were lower. They have indicated that they're going to be looking at making those plans better. So maybe they won't be cheaper, but they'll be enhanced. But I think that the healthcare really is our priority because that's obviously the biggest concern that people have, and that we want to make sure that that is good coverage. And that $250 deductible is just amazing that, somebody could have that low of a deductible. So I think we'll have some staff that are really thrilled about it.
great. Well, thank you very much, Julie, and all of you, of the administrative team for working on this and giving this, thorough presentation so that we understand as well what will be happening. If anybody has any other questions, we do have until next month. So
yeah,
feel free to contact Julie or Beth or Kate, and I'm sure they can help. And I appreciate too that the Finance Committee looked at it so carefully and probably resolved a lot of the issues as well.
Or if I can just add one thing, my compliments to the staff. We've been wandering the health insurance desert without allies for 10 years. So it looks like that's finally coming to an end. But as John said, when you're in that health insurance market and you're a small fry, you have no bargaining power at all. So this is
Exactly.
a real plus.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, I know. I think it sounds like a win for all of us. So I appreciate it very much too. Thank you, Julie, very much for explaining it well.
Sure.
And thank you, Kevin. Anything else from Finance, Kevin?
No, that's it. Thanks, Gloria.
All right.
Julie and Beth, appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. You're welcome. Operations Committee, Peter.
We met on June 1, and that we pretty much covered already today in this meeting. What we covered in our operations committee, we talked about the ribbon cutting ceremony, Miller Park reopening, the determination of much longer we're going to require staff to wear masks. We did look at the levy modules that the finance committee is working on, and recommended adding a replacement levy scenario to the module. And then we discussed briefly the library participating in a salary survey to make sure that our salaries are competitive for libraries of our size and quality. So that's the update of the operating committee.
Okay. All right. Any questions, anybody for Peter? Okay, thank you. I really don't have anything to add other than, thanks to all the staff as always. I know people are really happy to have Miller Park open. I've heard several people comment about being happy about that, and I know Stephen's happy with it. And I think everything just seems to go smoothly at Main Library and Lane Road as well. So thank you all for getting that back up to speed. And I'm sure we'll see more activity as the days and weeks go by. I think we're good. We have our special meeting in July. It's the 22nd. Am I right on that, Beth? And it will be Zoom. should be relatively brief. I would think we will have an executive session then as well to do just sort of a mid-year discussion with Beth about her goals. But otherwise, our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, August 17th, and we will meet in person in meeting room B at the library. So we'll
That
look
will be a
forward.
glorious event.
Yes, it will. Anything else anyone else needs to add that I've forgotten or you have to contribute? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you, John and Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you all for being here. Have a great week. Take care.